guys, it's Paula from PSN Creations. Welcome to my channel if you are new, and welcome back if you're returning. Today's video is a flip through. This is a book that I picked up at a bookstore. I believe it was in my haul video. I will link that above right here if you're interested in seeing the video. But it was a book that I had not seen before. It's a Walt Disney's book, Toby Tyler, and this particular book was circus themed. And what I did try doing is I did try to use as many as the images that were part of the book, but the pages themselves were very fragile because the book is from the it's actually 1960 is the copyright of the book. So they were not in the condition where I can fold them and use them in that way. So you'll see as I go through the flip through of what I did with the pages, the full pages, and how I used those images. I hope you enjoyed the flip through. A little bit about the book. It is 2 signatures. Originally it was only 1 signature, so I made it into a 2 signature journal. I did create a new spine for it, and it has a total of back and front 160 pages, and it measures 7 3/4 by 5.5 with a 2-inch newly built spine. So let me show you. I just created this little dangle here. It's just on a ball pen that's just pinned through the fabric here. I did add an eyelet here, and on the back of it I just added some music paper that I had in my scrap pile. And this was the original spine of the book. So the original spine was just under 1 inch. I thought it would be nice to preserve it. It has obviously Walt Disney, the title of the book, and a tiger on it. So the spine is covered in fabric. Signatures are sewn in, and the closure is the same fabric that I used for the spine. I just thought it went well. I had extra of the fabric, so it is not attached. It's just a piece of fabric that maybe there'll be a closure that you like better. And like I said, this is removable, but I will just move it to the top. And the inside cover of the book did have this beautiful image and design of the circus coming into town. And all the images were like a pink and gray tone to them. So yeah, they were pink and gray tone. And I kind of, like I said, try to use the images that I can. In the back, it's the same. So we have obviously the fabric here and the fabric here on the spine. And then again, this is part of the original book where it shows the circus. I did take 2 pages to start off both of the signatures from the book, and I just Frankensteined them together with some scrap paper. So those are the two pages that you'll see that are part of the actual book that I kind of, like I said, Frankenstein together. They may not be consecutive page numbers. I just picked 2 random images that I thought, or pages that I thought were interesting. Popcorn bag on this vintage music sheet. I added a popcorn bag here. This is not a vintage popcorn bag. This, I believe, is like one that you can pick up from the Dollar Tree. And I made it into a pocket. So I cut the bag in half because they are long. And the first top part of the bag is in the first signature, and the second part of the bag is in the second signature. First signature, second signature. Anyhow, I did include some of these vintage tickets in here, because when you go to the circus, you get tickets, or the fair, something to that extent. And then, like I said, I did try to use some of the image pages from the journal. And what I did was I took the image page, I backed it with an additional book page, and then I added on top of that some coffee dyed paper, and then I sewed around to give it a little stability, so you have a little journaling card here. And it fits just perfectly there. All right, some vintage ledger paper, not used, vintage dictionary page, and here we have a vintage white lace trim that is sewn on. Avocado dyed lined paper. This was just a blank copy dyed piece of paper. On this side, I added one of my book page clusters that I make. And I did keep this as a little tuck. So you can tuck something there. I will add something to that for anyone. And I thought that this gentleman looked good because, you know, when you're at a circus, you know, I think that I would have seen, and then they traveled. I used the word travel there. So I thought that went really well together. And on this side, I decorated a CD sleeve. So I added a ticket here and a little elephant die cut with just some scrap dictionary pages and music sheets. And this is a page of the book, just another page. This was chapter 2, free pass. And I just made it into a little journaling card with an index card backing it. And then just some die cuts here as well. And of course, this is just a copy dyed paper that you can use for writing or whatever it is that you choose. So a flip out here of the CD sleeve. This is a 1970s Webster's Elementary Dictionary. I just came across this book and I thought this was really nice to have a variation in size of my dictionary pages. So I like that. Some lined copy dyed paper, National Geographic's vintage map piece, copy dyed paper, some pink vellum. Here's another page or image from the book. What I did was I took the image and I just sewed it onto directly the music sheet. So you'll see the sewn mark right here. Here you can put a picture or collage or whatever you'd like on this side of it. And this side here is the image. Like I said, all the images were pink and black. This is some newer ledger paper. And the middle of the signature is some lightweight cardstock. I just liked how it looked, so I used it. I made little pockets on the inside. You can see the signature here sewn in. On this side here, again, is another large picture image from the book itself. And I did the same process where I backed it with another book page. And then on top of that, I added coffee dyed paper and then sewed all the way around. So you have a journaling card. And in this pocket here, just a little mishmash of a vintage Yahtzee scorecard from the 1950s, a vintage flashcard edition. And then this is just a punch card, a vintage punch card that I did fold because it is slightly long, but you can obviously alter these things or use them in another journal. Okay, and we're moving on. So we've seen all these already. Here is another one of those full page images from the book. This one, I didn't want to cut too much of it. So this is very similar to the front of the book. But this was actually a page that was in there. So again, followed the same exact process. I used a lighter coffee dyed. This might be tea dyed actually. But it was large where it wouldn't fit in a pocket. So what I did was I just paper clipped it here to this vintage music sheet. And it could be used however you'd like to use it. You can cut it down if you'd like. And then the vintage music sheet can be further decorated if you'd like as well. The vellum, copy dyed paper, our map, lined paper, dictionary page, coffee dyed paper. And my coffee dyed paper, so many times, because the pans I use just always have some type of different image to them. So I love that. So you see how it's a little bit darker here, a little bit darker here, and then a little bit lighter here. I don't know why it does that sometimes, but I like it. Lined avocado dyed paper. And then this is a dictionary page from the 1930s, and I just added a little coffee filter right here. And in here I have a jumbo playing card. You can see how big it is. It's big. And on the other side, I have a little paper clip. On the other side, I just made this little tag with fabric. And again, another gentleman with a little ticket and then a paper tab at the top, sewn all the way around. Again, I thought he could look like he's going to visit the circus or perhaps work at the circus. I don't know. And the little paper clip has a little star. All right. Here is the other side of the vintage ledger, music sheet, and the book page. And now we go into signature 2. Again, the first start of both of the signatures has book pages from the book that I just Frankensteined together with some scrap paper. Lined avocado dyed paper. I don't know if this is typewriter paper or copy paper. This is lightweight copy paper. Here's another image, full image from the book. And I did the same thing. I sewed it onto, this time it was a dictionary page, a 1960s dictionary page. So you'll see the sew mark all the way around here. But you have, the image is just so nice in this book. Lined paper. See, look at how dark this coffee dyed. I think this was coffee dyed. Look how dark that is. It might be tea dyed because for some reason my tea dyeing gets darker than my coffee dyeing. But you see how this is dark on this side, but this side is light? I don't know. 1955 National Geographic's another map piece. This is another vintage dictionary page, and I just took some fabric here. You know what this fabric reminded me of? Like the circus tents. So I added there. I wish I had enough of that to add to the spine, but I didn't. I just had little pieces of it. So I just did a little fabric ruffle here. And you see how it's like, I don't know, there's something about it. I love how it looks. Lined paper, a music sheet. Oh, here is the other side of the popcorn bag. And in this one, we have another full book page. I loved this image too. It's the little boy with the monkey. And again, I followed the same process. And these little, the bags, the pockets open up pretty, you can see pretty wide, right? Because I kept the bag, all I did was cut the bag in half. Here's a playing card. Again, it's a smaller one. It's not a jumbo one. Just thought just how it looked, I thought it went. And then more tickets. You have so many tickets to be able to feed the elephant or ride the rides. A vintage ledger paper, dictionary page with, again, a little bit of that vintage lace that's sewn on. I did another little paper cluster pocket here, explore and create, and this young man here. Again, I will add something to this pocket as well. But, it's not all the way sewn down, so it's more of a tuck than a pocket, I guess I would say. So, I don't know. You could glue it down more if you wanted to right there and right there. This was vintage, think Paula, wallpaper. And I don't know what it was. It's like, they were like kimonos or something. I just added it. I don't know. I just thought the colors went. Did 1970s elementary dictionary. In the middle of the signature, again, is lightweight cardstock, single-sided, and I created this type of pocket here on this one. Sewed all the way around at the bottom for the pocket. And here I just added some vintage ephemera that you can, do something with. Maybe this was them tallying this. You know, you can make it up. It could be that this was them telling maybe certain things for the circus and what was costing, or maybe who they were having to pay for the different performances. And then this is a New York Central Systems. Time returned and delay report to engine and train employees. And I thought this one went because, you know, train circuses traveled via train for many moons. Or it was Horton Carriage, right? This is just a little sticker here, cinema ticket admit 1. I thought it just went well there. And this, again, another full image from the book that I backed and sewed around and made into a large journaling card. So I like the idea that I was able to use a lot of the images from the book in this journal for you to use for journaling cards. So hopefully you like that as well. And now we're hitting the second part of the second signature. So we're going to see repeats of the dictionary page. And again, this is the vintage wallpaper. This is another dictionary page here. It's a little bit older. And I just had this delicate flag. So I just added it there because, you know, sometimes maybe at the circuses they had little shows as well where they were competing animals and things to that extent. I know that's usually fair that does that, fairs, but maybe circuses had that too. I don't know. The vintage ledger page, music sheet, lots of space here to make this your own and be creative. Writing paper, here's more dictionary, vintage page. I may add 1 or 2 things right here. I may add another pocket right here. So just keep that in mind if you're interested in this journal. There may be a new surprise pocket right here. Here's the other side of the map page. Here's my lined, or my dark. And then here's another journaling card. And that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye.